Hey friends, this is Marla with Marla Cain, and I'm going to do something that's been much requested. I'm going to DIY the faux scales. Now you can see that I have found images of an actual antique vintage scale, and I just think that's awesome, but they're very hard to find. They're not just everywhere you go. So when I saw my friend Sherry from Canterbury Cottage do a DIY on how to make the faux scales, I knew I just had to try it. So I did, and there is my very first one. And here are some that are in progress and some that are finished. That is the very first one I did. And I'm going to show you all the steps that I've done and all the little details that I think make it more realistic. And some of these are simpler than others, and some of these you can see already have the fake rust. I'll tell you what that is, and that's really interesting. Now this one here has not had the fake rust put on it yet, so you can see that I'm showing you how it's made of just little wood blocks. I had a random box of blocks from the thrift store that my mother-in-law actually gave me. Thought that the babies would like to play with it, but you know what? They had plenty of blocks, and these were perfect raw materials for my needs, so I took them over. Now this is the larger scale that I've done, and it actually is from an old clock, and you can see that it has the glass on the front. These others are lighter weight, smaller. I didn't even bother putting the glass on the front because there's really no mechanism in there to mess up. And I'm showing you that this is where my little grandbabies sit and eat. So I think I found some of Margaret's chicken nugget sauce on that table cover, but you know what? That's okay, because I love when my babies come, and that's just part of life. And if you can't get chicken nugget sauce on something, I don't know if life's worth living, really. Now here we go. I'm showing you that first scale that I made, and I'm pointing out that the round face of your scale is actually a lid to a little cardboard round box that I got from the Dollar Tree. And you can see that I've got a couple more scales, the parts kind of just stacked up there. Now I wanted to point out that I put the little upholstery tacks on the corners because I thought it made it look more believable, as if it were a piece of machinery. But that's just a piece of 2x4. My husband is remodeling a downstairs bathroom in our walkout basement, and I'm scavenging all the lumber I can scavenge from him. Now, the link for this vintage clock face, no, not a clock face, scale face, that I got that from Canterbury Cottage from Sherry, and I will also include the link in my description box below, and you'll be able to print that out in whatever size that you need for it to be. So I've got this really good little jar of paint, and it is so very dense, opaque, highly pigmented. I don't know what's the best word for that. It really covers well. I could have spray painted these blocks with just flat black spray paint, and sometimes for my projects I do. In fact, that top plate that you would put your item on to be weighed, that's definitely spray painted, because it is just a clear plastic plate. It was a pack of 8 of those from the Dollar Tree, and they're very lightweight. So to sell these, I'm going to put a sticker on the bottom that says handle with care, decorative use only, do not put heavy things on the top. I mean, it's not meant for a heavy duty situation here, but they are really, I think, a good, fun, cute little substitute for the real thing, when the real thing is not easy to come by, really not easy. So I am fitting this little scale face to the inside of that box lid, that round box lid. Now listen, you might be able to find lids of products in your kitchen, things that would work. I mean, think outside the norm, outside the box. Just look around when you're thrifting and look for things. I mean, little clocks are the best because they're going to have that little clear face that's still with it, and that adds a degree of realism, in my opinion. I like when I can find those, but they're not always easy to find either. So the little ones, I just felt that they were authentic enough and fun enough to just use those as is. Now, to cut these out and dry fit them is what you of course have to do before you would permanently put that down in there. But I'm going ahead and going to the trouble of trimming that out, and as you can see, that one's not going to fit. That one is, because I think what I did, I'm trying to remember, I think what I did was I took the bottom of one of those cardboard boxes, you know, the bigger part, and I just took a very sharp little box cutter, or yeah, I think the box cutter is the one that I used, and I cut it down to the correct size so that I would have one more piece to use, because I didn't want it to be that deep, you know, for this project. So time to paint, and I am going to go ahead and paint all the parts individually before I glue them together. Now, I do use hot glue. I've got a high temperature hot glue gun, and it holds pretty darn strong. I will go back and add some little brad nails. We've got an electric brad nail and also a pneumatic, very strong brad nail gun. And I will go back and secure those just to make sure that they don't come apart. But even if I didn't do that, I don't think they're coming apart. I mean, it's a really strong glue gun. Maybe not all glue guns are created equal, I don't know, but mine happens to be pretty strong. So once I get all my pieces painted, I will begin to hot glue those together. The small wood plaque that I'm using as a base, just happened to see those at the Dollar Tree in their craft section, and obviously it was $1, and I thought that it looked a lot like the shape of that vintage scale that I had looked up and found images of at the beginning of this video. So it's going to get the same opaque paint that I put on the other pieces, and it's just a relaxing thing for me to do while, and you know, I'm at the end of my dining room table. I'm sure it's the biggest eyesore ever, but I like to be around my family. People are watching TV, they're going in and out of the kitchen, having supper, and I just kind of want to be around everybody while I'm having my good craft time. I do have a craft room, and I have plans for a second craft room that can be my actual messy space. You know, when you raise 5 children, when you're raising Cain for 30 years, eventually some of them move on and vacate some rooms in this big old 5-bedroom house, and I'm going to make a room that stays pretty, which is my rose room, and it has my sewing machine and craft things in it now. But I'm going to leave the rose room pretty, and then I'm going to do most of my crafting in the corner bedroom that is, well, it's a long story, but all through the years my children have played fruit basket turnover with their bedrooms. Whenever somebody gets married, moves on, does something different, if somebody likes their bedroom better than their current bedroom for whatever reason, they'll just move house and they'll move all their stuff, and that's fine with me because this bedroom that's getting vacated is the third bedroom on the top floor. So that means that my bedroom, my romantic rose room, and this third bedroom that'll actually be a nice craft space are all going to be on the upper floor, so that I can really enjoy not having to go up and down the stairs, because that's just a bummer on knees that are just the least little bit arthritic with some fibromyalgia thrown in there just for fun. Now it's time to hot glue all your blocks together. Just position them so that your clock face or scale front is tilted just a little bit. I think that works better. If you look at an actual scale, you'll see that they're tilted so that they're easier to read from a standing or front position. I wanted to show you the vintage scale that I have in my laundry room. It is an actual scale that I think it says baby scale on it. I forget exactly what it says. I paid $1 for it at a yard sale. You better believe I hollered on the inside when I found that one. To get the rust look, you can use cinnamon, just regular cinnamon from your kitchen. If you'll put a little bit of wet paint, like when you have finished everything and you're ready to do the cinnamon, take the black paint and put just a little bit wherever you want some rust, and then sprinkle cinnamon onto it, and it truly looks like rust. Thank you so much for watching. I am very happy that you have chosen to come and find my video and watch it. I am raising Cain every day.
What happened?
What happened? And I've got a little granddaughter with me today. This is Margaret Ann. Can you say bye?